Hi, I'm BrettSwarts, founder of Capital Gains Tax Solutions, where we use the Deferred Sales Trust to help you escape feeling trapped by capital gains taxes when selling a business, high-end primary home, or commercial real estate so you can create and preserve more wealth. In this video, we're covering what's the minimum deal size to make sense of the fees if I'm considering using a deferred sales trust. So at this point, perhaps you've looked at the deferred sales trust, you love the benefits of the freedom and the flexibility and the diversification that you can get from it. And you're looking at a pretty big tax bill, but you want to make sure that, hey, if I'm going to pay these fees, is it going to offset the cost of the trust, and is it all going to make sense? So let's walk through this. We've generally found that $500,000 of proceeds is the minimum proceeds that we need. In other words, let's imagine you're selling a $1.5 million business and you have $1 million of debt on that business. Well, $500,000 would be the proceeds into the trust. That's important. If it's lower than that, it's generally too small of a deal because our fees start to eat away at any potential earnings that we could have on those proceeds to offset the fees, which leads us to the really the most important part, which is what's the tax liability deferred. The tax liability deferred, we found that the minimum is $100,000. So if your deal is $500,000, but you're only deferring around $30,000 in liability, in other words, that's the check you're actually going to write to the U.S. government for your capital gains tax, not to be confused with your gain, because your gain is the amount above your basis. So let's imagine you had a zero basis and a $500,000 gain. Then you're looking at 30 to 50% of that gain being your actual liability. So back to the liability, it needs to be at least $100,000 or greater, and $500,000 of proceeds or greater. If you hit those two thresholds, we have found, generally speaking, it makes sense to use the deferred sales trust. Why? Because we can hopefully out-earn is the goal, earn what we would have paid to the US government, and we can make a return on that. So let's walk through that. Most of our notes on average, they make about 8% on any given 10-year period of time. And fees wise, you're looking on average about 1.5% per year. Okay, and that's what's coming out. Now, the initial setup cost is a one-time cost, and that's about 1.5% per year. So you also got to look at that as well. But if you hit all of these thresholds, and then you can earn 8 on that amount. And if you were to allow that to compound, the rule of 72 kicks in. And this is key. This is the law of compound interest. And if that kicks in, and if you would allow it to compound, that $500,000 along with that other $100,000 of liability, you can double that in 10 years. In other words, that 500 becomes $1 million. And if you did that again, that $1 million becomes $2 million. So again, the goal is about 8% is typically where most of our clients are at. After fees, about 6.5%, which again, if you let that compound, you're looking at a 10-year horizon, it could double, and then you could pay the tax at that point. So that's one way to think about it. Obviously, if your tax liability goes higher, right, then this becomes even more valuable for any dollar that's above $100,000. Now, the ratios also have to make sense. If you're selling a $5 million deal and you only have $100,000 of liability and $5 million is your proceeds, then those ratios don't make much sense either, right? So we would say just pay the tax. So those are some of the reasons, or that's the main reason, and the main reasons for considering the minimum deal size. But more than that, we have a tool. It's a free tool. You can go to our website right now, capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. You can click on request a quote. You can schedule a one-on-one consultation with me, and we can walk through this together and kind of analyze the numbers and see if it might be a good fit for you. So we look forward to connecting with you soon. Thanks so much for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe and leave a comment too, which helps to spread the message of the Deferred Sales Trust. Thanks so much.